We got threes, we got twos, we got ones, and we are back in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another week of Say Something, the show. And we got a lovely, lovely agenda here today. We
Short
got
and sweet.
Short and sweet. As you know, as the off season goes with a lot of our major sports, you're going to have that downtime, which always comes midsummer. Where, again, you got baseball holding it down, but we're used to having an overlap of sports. So just a little slower than usual, but that's okay because we've done some deep digging to find y'all some good enough stuff to talk about, some substance, some nuggets, and we'll go over all of that. But before any of that, as you guys know, if you've been watching, this is the time that we take traditionally to check in on our friends, on our homies, on our people. So if you have a moment, please take a moment, look to your right, look to your left, make a text. You never know when it might be the right time just to check in. So, Mitch, how you doing? How's everything going? Tell the people.
Man, everything's been going great for me. I'm glad to be back here, talk more about sports with you guys. I'm glad to be back with all the folks out there. Really just been on the grind doing my work thing every day. Ready to go on a trip soon.
Okay.
Going to be going on a road trip to Vancouver. So it's going to be cool to see some more nature, see old Canada.
Heck yeah.
See how it's going on out there. But other than that, man, just ready to talk these sports and kick it with y'all.
Absolutely. Have you been to Canada before?
I flew into Vancouver, and when I did, I was like, yeah, this looks like a different world. It looks like a fancy world with all the mountains and everything. Right. And the city kind of looked like the Bay a little bit because it's right by the water. Right. So I'm excited to go up there. I think it's going to be a good time.
Beautiful. Yeah, a lot of those areas are phenomenal. My goal is hopefully when the World Cup comes this next summer, I'd like to do some USA action. I'd like to do some Canada action. Maybe Mexico, but really U.S., Canada would be my goal. Toronto, gotta check it out. Vancouver would be dope. A lot of those places are very, very beautiful. Yeah. So excited for you, man. That's awesome. Hope you have a wonderful time. Yeah, for real. Check on the world of Drake.
Yeah. See if they're still surviving up there.
Right. Exactly. For myself, I am currently just really gearing back up for another year. As I said, this last year, the master's program. So that's a cool thing about a 2-year program. In the beginning, it can feel kind of long. Right. Then you're down with 1 year and you realize you're 50% through. So that is a blessing. And, I think I'm going to blink and I'm going to be through it again. So I'm looking to actually enjoy it. I'm looking to actually soak it in, as opposed to stressing about it or, a lot of other times with school for me, it was always just let me get to the finish line. And every day was just talking about the finish line and, just being done with it. And so my goal this time around, soak it in a little bit more and just enjoy the moments that come with this new kind of success that I've found within school and this new degree that I'm looking to obtain.
Educated out here.
Exactly. Master's Benny. Who would have thought? I bet I could walk through Beehive and there's a lot of people that would fall flat if they ever heard that I ended up grabbing that master's. But I too am also excited to do the show as we always are. It's just kind of like a weekly checkpoint. Yeah. And just again a wonderful time to have fellowship with my homies. And just chop up some stuff that we love to talk about as is. So let's jump into what we got today. We're going to start off in the NBA. No rhyme needed there, even though it just so happened to go like that. And usually when we start in the NBA, we like to start with the Warriors. Obviously, that's home base, hometown. I wish I could do a quick cam flip, and then you could see my boy's T-shirt, because that would just let you know, it's legit. This is it. We're on the soil. So, of course, we're going to talk about the Warriors first. Apparently, and as you guys know on this show, we have been real crickets when it comes to the Warriors because there's just not a lot to talk about. I mean, at the end of the day, all it is rumors. We've made 0 moves. And so we will continue to talk about the rumors as they come. But if you're wondering why some of the news has been a little lighter lately on the Warriors side, it is due to that. So I just wanted to get that air cleared because, as you guys know, we have been on the heels of the Warriors in terms of the lack of moves this offseason. But apparently, there's interest in Seth Curry, who is the little brother, if you don't know, yes, related to Steph Curry. By any means, or by no means at all, excuse me, is this, any kind of like, savior-based move. This isn't going to move the needle. Do I think that it would be a bad signing? No, I don't personally think it would be a bad signing. I mean,
he's solid.
Depending on how our roster ends up looking, like he's always been a good shooter, and he did play with us, right?
Yeah, to start
originally,
off.
Right? Like a lot of people's careers, they start them, and then they find a bag once we teach them how to hoop in the NBA.
Right.
I wouldn't be mad. He's a good shooter. He's not going to help us much defensively. But again, he's one of those guys that, really can stretch the floor and is a serviceable three-point shooter in the league. But as we've all mentioned, you're going to need a little more pack to the punch and other signings for us to even care about a Seth Curry signing. However, I won't belittle it. But what do you think about the Seth Curry potentially signing with us? Do you care? Is it not even something we're talking about right now?
I would say it's a solid, I know maybe not for you would be equivalent, but to me that'd be something equivalent to getting like a Shake Milton. Or something, or who's the other dude?
DeAnthony Melton.
DeAnthony Melton or something like that. Where I'm just like, all right, you're a solid NBA player. You're not a starter or nothing.
Right.
You could if people got hurt, then you are the guy rather than somebody else on the bench. But
100%.
You fill a role. You're an active role player in the NBA. So I think he's solid. And again, he does shoot the three very, very well. I think over 40%. So he's been one of the better guys as a role player to be shooting the three. So I would welcome it because just with the depth, I don't know how we're going to use it. And he seems like more of a stable guy compared to other guys who could have flashes and maybe weeks of good ball and then weeks off, where it's just too much of a roller coaster, where he's a little more stable as a seasoned veteran in the role playing position. But again, I just want to see something more significant. Even an Al Horford move would be a little
just a position.
I wouldn't be just come on. I know he's not going to really help on defense, but at least he's above 6'9". It's
yes.
We just need some kind of
with some weight on him.
Yeah, with some weight on him, and can shoot the three, can space the floor. I just think we need to make some kind of moves out there. I'm seeing guys like Marcus Smart getting moved to teams. We, just other guys going places where we need to be trying to figure out how to get the players like a Filipowski on the Jazz or something who's showing out right now in the summer league. Just something to move the needle, like you're saying. The guys that we're thinking about, it's because we've made so many of those moves in the past, and those are the same kind of players we already have. So it'd just be nice to hear a semi-bigger name in terms of a big coming to our team to complement what we've been lacking at and where we will lack at in the future with the team that we have currently constructed. Everybody is 6'9" or shorter.
100%.
The league's only getting taller and more skilled, so we don't really have the guys to match that when it comes down to 7-game series, 5-game series, and playoffs. Yeah, we can get away with it and make it to the 8 or 9 seed during the regular season, but to actually make a push, we've always had a semi-decent big man. So if it shows in the past that that's been successful for us, that's what we need right now, especially if we're still catering to Steph Curry and not already thinking past that, because what we're doing with Kuminga, I know that's probably what we're going to be talking about next is Kuminga. It's just we're doing it all wrong. Everything that we're doing is wrong. We're shunning this guy. We're making it seem like we don't care about him, like he can't fit our system, instead of trying to figure out how we can utilize his talents to better our team. And all we're doing is shaking his confidence, making him more frustrated with our coaching staff, with our front office. It's just a horrible situation all the way around, to the point that we're not doing anything. We're just going to have a disgruntled player on our team, and he's not going to just hoop for us. I feel like he's the type of dude who will just hold a grudge and just play however he feels like whenever he's on the court, and break some of the chemistry that we have, and break the momentum that we could be having during times when he's in the game. He's just kind of probably going to lollygag. He already is somebody who like is questionable with the IQ. So if he's gonna take the rights of just like I'm gonna just drive every time, like I don't really care. Like, nope, I'm not gonna pass it. I'm not gonna move the ball 3 times. No, I'm just gonna go. And if you want to take me out, then all right, I'm gonna just make this money on the side until you guys are ready to move me. So I think we just handled that terribly from the very get-go of just bad player development with these guys and integrating them with our old veterans throughout these last few years. It's bad to see it like this because what player that we got Kuminga in that draft, but what player in that draft would we have just been like, yeah, this worked out for you if this is how we were going to treat whoever we got.
True.
So it's just true. From the very get-go of drafting this guy, how do you draft somebody that you don't have a vision for? Or like, were you expecting him to get quote unquote smarter?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you guys are evaluating at the time. Steve Kerr saying, Anthony Edwards, we wouldn't even draft you, but then we draft Kuminga, and this is what we do with it. Like, so it's been terribly handled from the very get-go, and so it's sad to see right now, and it makes me even more worried about the season to come because we would need somebody like Kuminga to be taking another step if we're probably going to make any kind of push this season. And I can only imagine what Steph's thinking at this point.
Oh, God. No, I agree wholeheartedly. I think, honestly, the rest of our money, whatever it is, I'm not exactly sure the books for the Warriors, but I think it all has to go to size and shooting. I mean, at this point, that's it. Like, if you're not a shooter and you're not tall, you don't have one of those 2 things coming to the table, we're not throwing any money at you. And hopefully, there can be some moves made. Al Horford, Melton, Curry, maybe some combination of things, at least for now, that can make us feel a little more comfortable with the offseason. I think a lot of our money is tied up with the big 3, but, it's no excuse to have this roster looking the way it does with the fact that there are guys out here that are gettable.
Yeah.
And we all know that, honestly, the way this roster is, sure, they played very well down the stretch, but I don't think speaking of size, I don't even think we have a guy who's over 250 pounds, which in the West, it's like 6'9", that's a problem. But then, like, the weight is like Kevon Looney was our only weight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I really think that, Mitch is spot on with that. We have to double down on size. I like Quentin Post. I like the 2 guys we have as little complementary big pieces. That's why I wouldn't mind Al Horford. I think he coming in and having Post and Trace Jackson-Davis to deal with in interchanging, I think that could be great. But without that, it's like to really think that Trace Jackson-Davis and Quentin Post are going to hold us down at the 5 this year in the West is like, talk about Shaq saying barbecue chicken.
6'9" for Trace Jackson-Davis, and then 7 foot for Quentin Post. Nobody's taller than them. They're 2 tallest players. Yep. And like you're saying, it's like you don't even need to be raw at defense because the way that we play defense, you'll just be in the way, and that's all. And then you'll be tall enough to where like the 7'2" guy doesn't if he doesn't jump, you can actually get up there. Whereas when you're 6'8" and boxing out a 7'2" guy, they're just up there just tapping it. So we just need you in the way and serviceable on defense, and rebounding.
Yeah. And so, that brings us, as Mitch also mentioned, to our next point, which is that Jonathan Kuminga news came from Shams today, that he is not planning to sign the offer that we've put out there. Now, don't jump in a panic if you're part of the Warriors fan base like we are. This is how contracts go. This is obviously chess. And, at the end of the day, these 2 parties have been at quite a stalemate for a long time. So to think that, I think it would have been much more surprising to hear that Kuminga is going to take whatever offer we had left on the table. Because at the end of the day, I don't think we've even renegotiated in a long time. I think it's been kind of where it's been for a while. And I think that Kuminga and his team, we've both put ourselves in bad spots.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that he is now needing the space to really assess, man, I have a crippled relationship with this organization. Nobody else really wants me, though. Nobody, and it's not that they don't want me, it's just book-wise and how to get it done is just not going to be very feasible.
Right.
And so I basically think on his end it's biding time, right? It's just buying more time It's trying to just get him a little more space in hopes that somebody comes in with a save him deal, in hopes that the Warriors come around and say, you know what, we'll give you the original offer we gave him. Because I really, truly also think that Jonathan Kuminga's team did him a disservice. And the reason that I say that is also in alignment with what everything Mitch has said. So I'm not taking back the fact that I think that the Warriors completely misplayed the whole thing with all of our youngsters, really. But I do think that when we offered him 20 to 25 mil, he should have taken that. Yeah. I mean, he had not done enough in the league, in my opinion. Yes, did we short him a little bit? Sure. But to me, that 20 to 25 mil, sure, compared to, I think what really jaded him was the other cats in his year starting to get deals, and they were crazy. Yeah. But it was like Franz Wagner, played 40 minutes a season with the Dookie Magic. And honestly, if the Magic were in the West, they'd still be a lottery team. Maybe. Maybe they'd be out. Maybe they'd be fringe, but they wouldn't be, one of these, they might be top 5. And so it's kind of a situation where you got to look at everything too if you're Jonathan Kuminga's team and realize, okay, the number 1 pick and those kind of guys are doing better maybe, but the guys in my range, the only ones who are successful are the ones that went to absolutely dookie teams in the East, and they're doing their thing, and so they've gotten contracts because there's nothing else over there. You are in the West on a team that you already have a championship. You in your rookie year and did nothing for it. You've done a whole lot of nada really for us, with a whole lot of nada in terms of playing time. But we offered you something to me that was substantial still. Yeah. And now it looks crazy. Because now he's getting nowhere near that. You know what I mean? And now we're offering him, 15, maybe 18. You know what I mean? And even that, I think, I don't know if those are even still on the table. And other teams don't have the numbers to give him 20, 25 mil even anymore. Right? And so he's really in a spot where no matter what, he's not going to get the money he wants. Right. And so now it's just a relationship thing where it's like, has it gone that bad? Do you think your career can continue to plunge if you commit to us? And I think that that's what now the team has to really deal with, because apparently there have been offers from the Suns and one other team, actual concrete offers, which I think are, from what I've sniffed around, rumor has it they're absolutely dookie. But what it does is it does make it to where Kuminga's team has a little leverage. Not a lot, but a little leverage to at least say he's not unwanted, though. Right. And so you got to figure something out. And if I were him, I mean, honestly, it would be hard for me to think that how it's gone and with the way our roster is constructed and with the fact that Moses Moody snapped up his deal. Real fast.
Need that.
He was like, what?
Lock
3 years?
me in.
3 years, 30? Y'all got? And he's getting paid right now. He's looking at Jonathan like, you need something?
He said, I'm about to be 6 man.
You need something? Send you some DoorDash. What you need? Like, you hungry? I got you. And I know that they, you can't imagine that kind of stuff going that way. But again, business is business. And I think that to just end my point, I think that they did him a disservice because the market has been telling both sides things that they're not willing to hear, right? The market is telling Jonathan Kuminga, you are not worth 20 to 25 million. You're just not, because a team would have came and gave you that if you were. And then the Warriors are unwilling to hear in trade talks that if this guy's not worth 20 to 25 million, what do you really think he's worth in the trade market? You can't sit here and tell me, I need a first and a startable player and a da-da-da-da. Nobody's trying to even give him 20. Yeah. Right? And so that's where I think both sides are left at, and why this looks crazy and why nothing is happening is because neither side wants to admit that they are at fault in this and that they are also a reason why the product isn't valued to where they perceive it to be. You know what I'm saying? So yikes, and yikes.
It's rough out here.
Let's hope you can get signed. I think he's of value. I personally believe we should value him. If it was up to me, I would say you sign him just because of how bleak the future looks. I mean, on On a standalone of that, when you look at this 2-year window, do you know how quickly this is going to be over? This Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and they can get a ship out of it. I don't know. But what I'm letting you know is, no matter what, if they do or don't, it's 2 years. It's a 2-year window to compete. And so I've been watching the Warriors long enough to be hopeful that I don't have to just turn it off.
Good thing
after 2 years.
Good thing we have a GOAT right now. Gee, that's the only reason.
Right. But I'm saying, like, in 2 years, if the GOAT's gone, or even if he's there at a diminished level, is it like, am I even excited to even turn the TV on and have somebody on there? Because Jonathan Kuminga is not on the roster, and we're looking at Pods and Moody. It's like, guys,
what are we doing here? We got Trace Jackson out here too. What are we doing?
Is there somebody generational coming? Because we're gonna need it.
We looking like a G League team.
We gonna need Victor Wembanyama's clone. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? All right, enough of the Warriors. That is a dead horse that will stop kicking. Lillard. We'll talk about 2 targets that were potentially on the Warriors' radar for the Lowski due to their buyout situations. One was Damian Lillard, who decided to go back to the Trail Blazers, which is a very heartwarming, loving decision in terms of loyalty and those kind of things. Mm-hmm. In terms of basketball, probably the worst move you can make.
Worst.
Probably just the most so all you like to do is grind, Dame.
So you're going to retire.
You don't even, but it's not even that, bro. Like you just love the grind, dog. Because you're not going to retire. You're not. And you're going to have to go help that team out. And they got some youngsters that are going to learn from you. You're in the West, and you just came back to just grind every day and try to talk shit while being mediocre. And look, I love it for the idea, like I said, behind the theme of Dame Time, returning to the lineage, blah, blah, blah. But in terms of truly a basketball journey, in terms of a waste of your last years where it's just like, dog, they're not going to do anything.
Bro, you're crazy.
They're going to be grinding. They're going to be the nastiest grinding team, bro.
Wow. Hold on. Wait. We're not just going to disrespect the Trailblazers.
I rock with the Trailblazers roster, but damn. So who?
He's like, I'm waiting for next year. Dame Time is next year.
He's already gone.
Now I'm rusty.
He's gone.
But that's another year for my man, Denny Avdia, to get better. Who was serving last year.
My Lord. He's like
my 26. Man, Donovan Klingen is going to be 7'3", 7'2". He's going to be about 23 years old. He's going to be ready to go. He's going to be a big boy down low.
They just drafted another big.
They got
dude from Asia.
Hey, they got 25-year-old Caleb Love coming out of college after about 6 teams. We got Shaden Sharp's going to be ready to go.
Shoot you out the gym.
Shaden Sharp's going to be ready to go. They got Robert Williams hurt. He's going to be about 29, still hurt.
Roster,
come on, man. Drew Holiday.
People wouldn't even import that roster to NCAA basketball.
Jeremy Grant?
Jeremy
Grant's going to be right there waiting for him.
I'm going to keep it 100. This is the NBA we're talking about. Now, in other leagues like AAU, you know what I mean, lower level hoop, man, that'll do. You know what I mean? But that team, you got to hope for a wish and a miracle. And all I'm saying is, Lillard, you know what I'm saying with what you accepted, which is another 3 years of grinding. And you're going to be rich to do it. Like, they are cashing him out.
Ryan Rupert?
He'll be making $70 million between his 2 contracts. $70 million a year. That is nasty work.
Whew.
That is sickening. However, you will be at or below 500 for all those millions. All of them. And so just enjoy the grind and remember that you said loyalty matters the most. And look, I'm a loyalty fan. But just when other people are winning rings, when at the end of your career, all we're talking about is a couple of the shoes you released and a couple of the moments you had, don't tell me we didn't tell you, be careful with just signing back up to go to Portland for the cash. I know you had your family there. I know there's some sentimental stuff. But Dame, come on, dog. You forced your way out the first time to go chase a ring. And this is how you come back in, dog, with the tail between the legs. Just give me my money, my bone back. Darn it. Dame. And you could have came to the Bay too, man. We would have put you on. It would have been saucy. Man, you could have really been a hometown hero in the last stretch, bro. And think about the times and the life you would have had being back here in the town, living with all your people, and playing alongside Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler. you would have had the time of your life, man. But anyway, have fun over there in Portland, where the only thing that's being talked about is the Nike, what is it? The warehouse, the
campus,
the
campus,
Nike
baby.
campus. You know what I mean? The main station. So the last thing we have for the NBA is Beal and CP3, a former Warrior in CP3, and then Beal, who was another target for us after he was bought out. And a article actually came out that was saying that we were only willing to give him vet minimum. Mm-hmm. So if he was going to sign, we were only going to give him vet minimum, which I actually agree with. Like, all these guys were playing so bad on these max contracts, and they're still going to get paid. It's like, dog, no. You want to come ball out, come over here and get that bid.
I'm convinced Chris Paul only made a conscious effort to play bad when he was on the Warriors, because he went to the Spurs and was doing his thing. And I felt like if we had gotten that Chris Paul, we would have been better for sure. But it's just like,
I think it was just
I can't stand that, man. Boy,
I think it was a bad fit, and I do think that he did have a super offensively down year. Like, his shooting with us was crazy. Where it was just like, dog.
And then he just started making them again when he was on the Spurs. It's crazy.
He had all those open threes with us. It was wild. Just, dog, you are clank-a-lank senior. And his fadeaway that year was so slow.
Nothing.
It was just like, anyway, but he was, I think, coming off an injury when we got him or something like that. So whatever, you know what I mean? But he's also 100, so it is what it is. Anyway, Beal and CP3, they went to the Clippers. So for CP3, that is a reunion with the old team in the heydays, those
Lob City, baby.
Mid-2010s,
losing to the Warriors, baby.
Yeah, but there were some menacing teams over there. He was getting. Go look at those highlights of Steph Curry putting him on the floor a couple times.
Yeesh.
Woo! Talk about real NBA Mount Rushmore moments. But both of them going back to the Clippers, I actually think CP3 is a bigger move than Beal. Like, I think Beal's cool. I don't know what Beal is like at this stage of his career in terms of like how good he is for a locker room comparatively to what he's bringing on the court. And I definitely don't think that he's one of these guys that's been willing to accept that he's not who that contract says he is. And if he were willing to do that, I think he'd be a lot more serviceable of a player. But I think he's just stuck in that I'm still him, and I need mine. And when you're in that mode and you're butt, you're tanking the team.
I feel like Kawhi would just tell him shut the hell up, bro. Like,
him and James. Because James is also just one of them guys where he's just like, and I won't pass you the ball.
Yeah,
like, it's all good. I'll drive and kick to somebody else. But I think CP3 does bring them an element that is really helpful if they do get to the playoffs healthy. As could be with a lot of teams, but I think with that team specifically, they got a lot of smart players, a lot of veteran players, and I think to get a guy that you can get the ball out of James Harden's hands, because sometimes they do it with Kawhi, but I think CP3 is even more efficient with that at that role, and when it counts, he can be a guy that delivers the goods for them. So I think great move on that front. I think Beal, again, it'll just be interesting if he's okay with being who we know Beal to be now, which is you should get about 10, 11 shots, play 25 to 27 minutes a night. Please try to play some defense while you're out there, and hopefully be efficient.
All right, so I got a question real quick, because I'm looking at the Clippers, and I don't know if all these people are still on the team currently, but I'm looking at them like they got Nick Batum. Yeah. They got Derrick Jones Jr., Chris Paul, Zubac, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Brook Lopez, John Collins, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and so Warriors can't make one move?
Right. They are.
And they got, like, I named about 5 people who make like 30 plus a year, at least 25. Like, how the hell we can't find the money to do something?
I know they got Brook on the low. I know they got a couple of them.
That's crazy, yo. I mean, we should have just tried to scoop up Zubac or something like what? Like, they figure it out, front office. Like, how can they have all these guys? They've made good moves to help them move forward. For their short window of remaining with Kawhi and James Harden. It's like, oh yeah,
I mean, just Houston's rocking. Houston's roster, looks insane too.
Right.
That's another one where you look at it on paper and you're like, all right, guys. So you're not gonna hand none of that out. Like, that's all with y'all. And there are a couple teams where you look around that aren't necessarily as talented, but in terms of big men, they're hoarding them.
Yeah.
And I think that is a thing where people are realizing it's swinging back, and I think teams are actively like, this is the new value, right, is having, a plethora of bigs and trying to get back to it. So Warriors, man, as the season progresses, if not this offseason, because I think some of these guys are the only ones in reach.
Mm-hmm.
You guys better get on those phones. Dunleavy, this is a make or break year for you too, dog. Like, we need to see some things that we can even grade you on, bro. It's starting to.
I feel like we're getting to the point in free agency too, where there is only a few 6'10" and above guys.
That's what I'm saying. No, it's only Al Horford.
Jesus Christ, bro.
It's Al Horford bust. If we don't get Al Horford, we're done.
We couldn't convince Steven Adams to lead the Rockets,
right?
Even with all the guys they got over there.
And I think some of those guys should become available down the road, but again, we'll see, and you got to be ready to make those moves. So. That's the update on the NBA. We'll have you guys caught up as things continue to unfold and as we get closer to the season. And any Warriors signings, of course, will be right there ready to update y'all. But we're going to move to the NFL. So the NFL, the NFL had a surprise today for us. Biggest one of the day so happened to come from my boys' squad, which sometimes that happens.
All the time.
Yeah.
Every time negative.
Right. This one is wild. So I'll actually let you do the Dougie. With this news.
So basically what had happened was we had this guy that we signed for a very, very large amount for 4 years.
110 mil.
And for some reason, we decided that we didn't want him on our team anymore. I know he got injured last season after a few games, but he was still doing solid during those few games. It wasn't nothing like jumping off the page, but it was a solid dude who had a name for himself who potentially could only get better throughout the season.
Prior Pro Bowler.
Prior Pro Bowler, yeah. Had just had a good season, 9 sacks with the Dolphins, was solid D tackle for them. We want him to be somebody who's going to be a name for us to go along with Max Crosby. Unfortunately, after a few games, he gets hurt, and there seems to be some controversy over the injury and how it's been handled throughout the last season and moving through OTAs and moving forward. But we put him on our PUP list, and we basically were like, we're not sure what's going on with him or his timetable or anything going on regarding his foot injury. So we're just going to let you go, buddy. And so we get rid of him. We're most likely going to replace him with nobody or somebody who we just drafted or picked up off the street. But that's just another bad hit. The fortunate thing is we do have, on paper, a solid front office and coaching staff right now. So that could mean like they could do a better job than others at this transition of, hey, guys, we lost this. This is why we did it. This is how we're going to move forward. Let's move on as a business, but also explain it in a way that helps make sense on the field wise to the other players out there. But it's unfortunate. We were hoping he was going to be a guy that would last for us, be a continuing Pro Bowler for us. But as at this point, he's no longer with the team, and hopefully that doesn't affect us too much on defense. Again, he didn't play a lot last season, so we still pretty much have the same defense we had before with some good veteran pickups from Pete Carroll, guys that he knows.
Right.
So we'll just see what's going on moving forward. I think maybe this is just, unlike the Warriors, maybe one of the good times to let somebody go, so it's not a distraction with this new regime you're bringing in. So there's no stumbling into a new season with a few guys who aren't all in with what's going on. So it's unfortunate, but my man is hurt. We don't know what's going to go on moving forward, and we got a season that we're trying to prepare for and start on the right foot. Pun intended.
Right. Yeah, I mean, sad story. I mean, this guy was I think the premier signing of last offseason. Yeah. Not just for the Raiders, but I think like in general. It was one of the more premier signings. Young, not even old.
He's like 27 or something like that.
Ridiculous. Right in his prime. Probably got another 2 years of his like real prime, which is crazy because normally you don't get a guy truly on that kind of contract like heading into his prime. But very interesting that apparently he was unwilling to get foot surgery, and that's just, I mean, I'm sure more of the story is going to continue to come out, but very odd, that it seems that they were at odds with how to move forward with the injury. And it seems that nobody knows when he's going to be back to play football, period. Yeah. Like just point blank at this point. So weird on both sides. Clearly both camps moving diffy. And it ends
typical Raiders stuff.
Yeah, for real.
There's nothing new here.
And it ends with a surprise clean cut. Just like no, we don't even know you. And that was 1 year after. I can't even imagine it's probably literally a year. They signed him probably
we've
around
done that.
July.
This is not the first time that we've gotten somebody and then they've immediately regretted it.
Yeah.
It's like
they're just like, see.
Every time. Like, I don't think we haven't been good.
Yeah.
So it's just like there's nobody nobody significant that signed with the team. And then, oh, yeah, this was a positive experience.
Yeah, we needed that. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, nah, this was bad play and bad chemistry and just nothing good happened here. We're sending them out. They're gone.
Right. And that takes us to the next of the Raiders news before we move forward, which is just real fast, nowhere near as big as that. But the Raiders do sign Jamal Adams, which I think at this point in his career, he must be playing more of a hybrid linebacker.
Yeah, I mean,
no way he's a safety.
I feel like there's just another Pete Carroll special.
It is.
This is somebody I can try and utilize, so I know is going to be in the right spot at the right times.
Right.
Just can solidify this defense so that hopefully it's not an avalanche when things go bad. Hopefully he's willing to be a type of guy who's playing more cerebral instead of just full go into the backfield.
Right.
Because that's something the Raiders definitely need. Or if he's going to do that, hopefully still continue to be successful in that role, because the Raiders in the past are a team that likes to send 7 guys at the quarterback and none of them get to the quarterback.
Right.
More than any other team that I ever see who blitz. So we just need them to be effective if he is going to be making those plays straight to the quarterback. But again, another name that's better than what we've gotten in the past in terms of solid veteran presence for our team and somebody with chemistry with our coach already. Because other times we've tried to sign, every time we try and sign somebody who's significant, who was Sean Smith, right?
Yep.
The cornerback,
immediately
done, after one season, but he was raw with the Chiefs. The Christian Wilkins, immediately done with us. Like, it's been repeating with all these signings that we thought were going to be a big deal, and then the other signings that we've made have been ones that are like, who the hell is that? Like, how is he even going to fit? Why are we going to rely on that guy to be a starter when he was just third string on another team?
Yeah, the only hitters on that team are like drafted through.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. There's like no free agent power.
No,
on that
there's
team
nothing
at all.
None.
100%. So we'll definitely keep y'all up on the Raiders as we always do with all that news. Moving now to the Niners and the other side of the league, which is dealing with not a lot of good news because there's just not a lot of news. So the only thing that I can really bring to the table today would be that the Niners wide receiver room is extremely short right now. And it'll be very interesting to see. Obviously, Debo got shipped off this offseason. It'll be interesting to see come the actual season what and who is available. Because right now we definitely have Ricky Pearsall dealing with some nagging injuries. We have, as you know, Brandon Ayuk, who had that big injury last year, still recovering, and we don't truly know when he'll be back, maybe midseason. And then Jacob Cowling just went down, our 4th rounder from last year. So it's crazy. I mean, at this point, it's like Juwan Jennings is definitely going to be the lead guy, but he's also dealing with contract issues. I want to give him a quick shout out to you, JJ, for just playing through it. I respect that. Going to practice, getting your reps. I think you recognize the role and the opportunity you have there. And so even though you are worth something and you do want that contract, you're also really wanting to take advantage of a lot of other people being down.
Yeah.
And really setting that name for yourself because we know you're capable of it. But with those 3 names, I mean, those are 3 guys that were arguably either bona fide starters or vying for starting positions. Right. So anytime you have Ayuk, Pearsall, and Cowling, that kind of talent down, man, you're going to be leaning a lot on Jordan Watkins, some of these new guys, Isaiah Naylor, who's an undrafted 6'4" guy running below a 4.4, who, if you guys want to see some like really cool highlights, just go look him up. He doesn't honestly, again, on tape, the reason that he was undrafted, there's reasons for that, but he's put together some really, really cool highlights due to his size, speed, athleticism, all that stuff. So I will be interested to see. I know we just also signed Amon-Ra's brother, Equinemius. I don't want to even
say that name 5 times.
Right.
Fast. Jesus Christ.
Equinemius. I don't even want to kill it.
In the meat.
Right. But we signed him and then that guy Cephas, who both were from the well, I don't think his brother was from the Lions, but Cephas was from the Lions. then his brother, I think, last was on maybe the Bears or something like that, or maybe the Packers. Not sure, but he was on one of those other ones. And again, that just screams the need for depth. Again, these guys aren't needle movers. Nothing that the faithful needs to go ooh and ah over. However, it should let you know that, I mean, we're struggling lining people up.
Yeah.
You know, when you're down that many guys, it's a problem. So let's hope that they can get better, get well soon. That whole wide receiver room, Godspeed. Hope we can see y'all really, really quickly back on that field, and especially in time for that regular season. And, you know, for all you guys who are getting that opportunity right now in camp, please continue to ball out, continue to grind, and hopefully I'm talking about you as one of these names that we don't have to worry about. You're a bona fide starter. And next offseason will be a different outlook on this whole speech about y'all. So that's it. That's all we got for the NFL. We're going to move forward on to the MLB, another league, as we've told you, which is the only pretty much active league right now. And it's the only thing that's given us some content that is running like the feed normally would. So we're going to start off with the A's. I'm going to ask you a quick question, and then I'll ask you a quick question about the Giants, and then we'll go from there. So the A's, first and foremost, all the talk has been around Mason Miller, their closer, all-star closer, guy who's throwing 100 like it's nothing. You know, a lot of trade talk. Do you believe the A's should trade him? Obviously, there'd be a big haul in return. Probably the most sought-after reliever in the game right now. Or do you try to build and continue, you know, with the roster you have?
I was honestly thinking about this earlier because I had been hearing about, I mean, ever since he came into the league, he's been on the trading block because he's on the A's.
Right.
But yeah, it just leads me to wonder, like, what even would be, like, what can the A's do, like, in totality to, like, make anything make sense in terms of even speaking about them as a team? They put this team out this season, and there was, like, some hopes.
Yeah.
People were like, oh, I see some things going on over there. We are 42-62. And we have players like Lawrence Butler. We got Nick Kurtz, who's crazy this starting this season. We got Brent Rooker, all-star.
Tyler Soderstrom.
We got Tyler Soderstrom. We got a Mason Miller.
Jacob
Wilson.
Thank you.
Having a great season, but it's not equaling wins. And so is this something to where we believe in these young guys that we have, and we're going to keep this core of players? Because it's what we can name maybe like 6-7 guys that's like
young.
Those are notable young guys who are doing solid.
For sure.
And it's like, should we build around that and keep signing those guys and not trade them away? Or should we just trade the farm? Because what are you going to get back that's going to make you compete within the next 5 years when you're consistently trading MLB guys for prospects?
You're just pushing your timeline back.
Yeah, so I really don't know what kind of direction the A's really want to be in. Maybe they sell the farm now, since they're going to be in Sacramento for this year, maybe the next 2 or 3 years,
right? And
be like, all right, let's sell everybody through these next few years, so that we have a bunch of guys who are right around 22, 23 for when we're in Las Vegas, and we want to pay guys a little more, and then really be coming back be an MLB team again.
Right, for real.
Because it's been years. I mean, I know we sporadically had seasons where we've overperformed and made playoffs, but then immediately lost.
Yeah.
But it's like, when are we going to be a team again that's like, we're making a playoff push, like, consistently,
right? Like
the Houston Astros did. Yep. When's our time where we're going to be making the right picks throughout the season? I forget who we got this season, but I really did like the pick that we made. I think we were like the 11th pick this last season in the draft, and I want to say it was like a top pitcher, like Jamie Arnold. I think the lefty pitcher from Florida State.
Yeah, who was supposed to go like top 5.
Yeah, so I do like that move. So it is something where it's like, maybe it's time that we start getting rid of these guys for some of the prospects that we think can actually make it to the league in 2 or 3 years, so that when they do get to Las Vegas, they'll be a viable team that's exciting to watch, that actually has a chance to make playoff pushes. So as long as we get some more solid pitching, and then because it seems like we've made a couple of hits with Nick Kurtz and Jacob Wilson as young hitters, even if we decide to keep Lawrence Butler as well. We have like a cool little solid core of position players, solidify that rotation and get rid of some guys that we have now who aren't really going to make a difference in terms of wins and losses, or in wins, because that's what we don't have. We have lots of losses. So that we have prospects moving forward. So, yeah, Mason Miller, you're going to be like a lot of former A's All-Stars, and you're going to get traded off to a team that can actually contend for some prospects. And I think that's probably just the best move, because as of right now, the team that we thought could be a fun team that could contend, it's just not showing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one quick question about the Giants. Do you have any ideal trade target that the Giants could look for at this deadline that might help them as they've gone through a bit of a lull here?
I mean, it's really tough because, like you just said, they've gone through like a real yeah. I don't want to like hit you like that. It's been kind of a big
it's been crazy
ever since once that Rafael Devers trade was made.
Crazy.
It was like, yo, we got this. We got our guy that we need,
and then
they have not been able to figure it out. I mean, there's nobody to start the game. I feel like a good addition for them, for you guys, a couple guys that could be good additions is on the pitching side, somebody like Mitch Keller from the Pirates, or even somebody like Jared Jones is hurt, but somebody from the Pirates rotation right now could really benefit you guys. Or even also getting somebody like Steven Kwan to lead off for you guys, because I feel like there's nobody at the beginning, like at the top of the lineup, that these other guys can knock in or even just get the ball rolling. So it's just like first time somebody gets a hit, there's 2 outs a lot of the time, or there's just multiple innings. It's just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 at the very beginning of the game. And I think having somebody who in Steven Kwan is a great fielder,
super good,
but also as well as great hitting and vision. He's fast. Super. And I feel like there's like not much speed on the Giants. You got a bunch of guys. You got Matt Chapman's and Willie Adames and a lot of guys who are going to get you like 20 home runs and 80 RBIs, but they're not pushing the needle because they also strike out a bunch. So I think getting somebody like that who could bring a consistent bat on ball at the beginning of the lineup and somebody who can steal some bases would be something that would be beneficial. But it's tough, though, because you guys have dug a little bit of a hole to where it's like, I don't know if there's getting out of it this season.
Right.
So they might have to be talking about losing somebody, as in like a Robbie Ray or something like that, if they did want to get something significant back.
Right, he's
somebody like that we can talk about when I move on to fantasy in a minute. Is just like somebody who was not he was coming off injuries and you didn't know what you were going to get.
Seems like always do that with one of these guys.
And so what we're getting out of him is top tier #1 status compared to anybody else on the team who's kind of been like underperforming. Like Luciano hasn't really been showing that much this season. And then you're not sure if you want to bring up a guy like Bryce Eldridge with a team that's not really hitting well already. Is he somebody who's going to join the club and then, lose his confidence because he's also batting like 160 in a tough lineup?
Right. And we need average and speed, not power.
Right, exactly. We don't need another guy who's just hitting and striking out.
Exactly.
Hitting bombs and striking out. So it's tough. They're in a tough position. I know Buster Olney, as the GM, really wants this team. That he really wants these guys, his players that he has now, to show up. I feel like he feels let down by what the team has been bringing to the table. I think another target that you guys have, or somebody that you guys can trade, is Helio Ramos. He's somebody who's been solid this season, but it kind of seems like maybe there's a ceiling. There may not be much more to this. So it could be like a sell high kind of situation for some other players. But other than that, those are kind of the 2 trade chips.
Those are perfect ones.
That I see that they have, because Luciano, like I said, has lost a lot of his trade value. And then like some of these other pitchers have just kind of been sputtering along and haven't really shown their value. And you guys, for the Devers trade, already traded any kind of prospect chips that you had. So it's just kind of tough right now. Buster, it's up to you, man. It's your turn to make the decision. I feel like from what I've heard from him, he really wants to rock with the guys that they have, because some of the moves that we're talking about with these trade chips don't really make a lot of sense if they're going to be trying to compete. So hopefully the guys can turn it around. The Giants are a team that can definitely do that down the stretch, but definitely have dug themselves in a big hole.
For sure. We also have news that Josh Naylor got traded today to the Mariners for an absolute bag of chips from the Diamondbacks. So just want to throw that out there. He is
nice
a good player.
Nice rental.
Yeah, he is a rental. You know, he's going to have a contract year up at the end of this one. So, you know, you're getting him for a little bit, but boy, that is a good player to get down the stretch. Yeah. Mariners always seem to make moves like this, and I'm always debating, are y'all even good enough to do that? But whatever.
Well, fortunately, wide open. Fortunately for folks, the Diamondbacks are now in sell mode after their season has gone down the drain. So there's still other guys like home run leader, freaking Eugenio Suarez. Man. I think a team like the Cubs would be great for him. Yes. They need a big bopper over there as well as some quality pitching. And I think that they have a lot to deal with if they're going to be able to be a team that can compete with the likes of the Mets and the Phillies in the playoffs.
100%.
So I think the Cubs are going to be another team to watch for pitching as well, because whenever you have the lineup already settled, it's about, like, when you're going in the playoffs, it's about solidifying that rotation in the bullpen to make that push, because at the end of the day, when it comes to pitching in the playoffs, you need the whole squad.
Right. Facts. All right. Well, as Mitch just said earlier, we are going to have the end of the show be based on fantasy update for the MLB and for anybody who plays fantasy baseball. So why don't you just go ahead and take it away, and we'll get y'all right up in the loop with this.
I mean, I'm just going to make it short and sweet this time. I just kind of want to go over some guys. I mean, every league is going to be different with who's on the free agent waiver wire 100%, right now.
100%.
And at the end of the day, if you're playing in a competitive league, there's really nobody out there.
No.
There's guys that you could be like, maybe, like, I'll be the one to reach for that. But at this point, if you haven't snatched up anybody who's been overperforming or outperforming what we thought this season, they're gone. But for the guys that at the beginning of the season when the draft was going on, I want to talk about guys who were real low in the draft, but have been really showing out this season.
Absolutely.
And like you were saying earlier, and like I was saying, for the Giants, Robbie Ray has been somebody who was going in the later rounds, I want to say in the 11, 12, 13 round range. And he's been showing out this season, being great for the Giants. Pete Crow Armstrong was somebody who potentially in your league could have been somebody that went high, but in a lot of normal, regular, casual drafts, he was somebody who was also going later rounds. I want to even say down to like the 11th round, 12th round, who's been outperforming 2020, probably has a chance to be a 30-30 guy already.
Top 10 right now in
top
fantasy.
10 in fantasy. Another one is, what's his name? James Wood.
Man.
James Wood for the Washington Nationals, drafted in like your 9th or 10th round this season. Another person who was high on the list of prospects who could actually do good this season, but still, a lot of people didn't want to take the chance early in the rounds, but he's been a top performer this whole season. And another person on that team who was a top prospect, and Dylan Cruz, who a lot of guys wanted to draft this season in fantasy, has been not doing it. So shows that, hey, you can find some gems in these later rounds. Another person thought that he was started pretty low in my opinion, is Riley Green.
Oh yeah,
Riley Green is a top performer. He was going in like close to the last rounds in a lot of drafts, like 15th, 16th round in a lot of drafts. So to see him and what he's been able to do this season, I think has been great. I'm sure there's a few other names. Those are the ones that I've picked out that I really noticed that have been big surprises throughout the season. For me, a lot of guys who have been in the top. I even think somebody like Ronald Acuna, if you did decide to pick him early, has shown out if your team has been consistent throughout the season and could hold on with him being injured for half the season. He's been one of the most exciting guys in fantasy since he's been able to get back into the league. Another big guy who maybe not have been low in your draft, but went 5th, 6th round in my draft, Matt Olson, was sputtering at the beginning of the season, but has been an absolute stud. Looking basically like the Mark Teixeira of this era right now at first base. Super consistent. And it's great to see him overly performing. And there's a lot of good guys out there that I could name, but those are the biggest ones in my book. Just to make it short and sweet for you guys, let me know who's been overachieving for you guys and who's been a great surprise for you guys on your team. Who's been your best pickup this season? For me, it's been Nick Kurtz.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Kurtz has been killing. I was kind of down on him. When we drafted him, I was like, dang, we should have took Jack Caglione.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing both of them play right now, and man, Nick is killing it for the A's. He's been a high spot for us, as well as Jacob Wilson. I picked both of them up just on a whim, and they've been really showing out for me. So who's been tops on your list? Let us know in the comments, because fantasy baseball is starting to wind down. This is the second half of the season. Playoffs about to be happening for guys. So how's your team doing? Let me know who's your biggest pickups were this season, all right?
Absolutely. For me, my biggest pickup was probably Mackenzie Gore on several teams. Man, he's been showing out this year, obviously up and down with the Washington Nationals not being the greatest team.
Yeah.
But I think he's still the K leader.
Strikeouts.
And, he's been putting together a lot of gems, a lot of quality starts. And the other name that I would put out there that I see on a lot of good teams that definitely – it's not that he was necessarily completely undervalued, but was a guy that just position-wise and everything wasn't going to be drafted early, and that's Cal Rayleigh.
Yeah.
Just been
tripping,
out of this world. I mean,
if
you have him on your team, you're good this year.
Right. He's 13th, 14th round kind of guy.
Dude. And I'm talking about, it's basically like having Aaron Judge this year.
Yeah.
Out the catcher, though.
Which is rare.
There's nobody else even good in the catcher. It's like having Travis Kelce and all the rest of the tight ends retired.
Right.
Like, in his prime, Travis Kelce.
Another name, too, I don't know if you were about to say this, that I completely forgot that I know was on your team, is Junior Caminero. I can't even believe I forgot to say his name. But he was definitely in the double-digit rounds. And, man, absolute killer out there. So,
former top prospect.
Yeah. Also, just like you guys, let me know who's been your favorite player as well. Who's been outperforming? Who's been the most exciting for you guys to watch?
Absolutely. Drop it down there. And let us know what else you want to see on the show coming up. As we said, a lot of the sports are kind of in pause mode. So if you have any ideas before the season start, you can drop those as well. And if we see them, we will go ahead and make sure we try to add those into the agenda on this show. And before we get out of here today, I do want to say for our soccer department, Barcelona, after being snubbed by Nico Williams and dealing with a bunch of other stuff because their money's a little funny, they were able to sign Marcus Rashford from Man United on loan. He will rock the 14 like his idol Thierry Henry, who also rocked that on Barcelona. So good signing. I mean, I think at the end of the day, he's not going to be one of these starters, but I think we needed depth. And so Nico, to me, was more of a starter and created some potential issues with where you line guys up who've had great seasons. So I actually like this with allowing Rafinha to still stay where he is. I think with his Ballon d'Or bid, he's definitely earned another starting role. To make him be a debatable starter would be crazy. I actually like it for what it can be. And hopefully, like Hansi Flick has done with a lot of other people, he's able to revitalize Rashford in this potent Barcelona attack. And the last news for Barcelona is Lamine Yamal has taken over the number 10, the absolute most famous number and jersey that there is. Some of the greats, Ronaldinho, Messi, Rivaldo, some of these other guys have rocked that thing. And so for him to get it at 18, quite an honor. And sad that Ansu Fati was the last one to have the 10, who really, if you guys know, that was pretty much Lamine Yamal before Lamine Yamal. Not maybe quite as out there with the things he's been able to accomplish, but he was out there at 16 doing his Dougie and got the 10-piece at around 18. And let's just hope Lamine does not have the same path as Ansu because he's no longer on the team, and injuries have completely derailed his career. But that's going to be it for today for the Say Something show. Do you have one other thing?
Yeah, just last but not least, again, I be in on some somber stuff sometimes, but the great legend, Hulk Hogan.
Yep, I figured.
Brother.
Right.
He's gone. He has passed away at 71. Absolute GOAT in the wrestling world. I remember watching him growing up all the time. The NWO versus WCW and all that stuff, and WWF. And I used to love watching that shit. So shouts out to the Hogan family. Sorry for your loss, and sorry to the loss for the wrestling community, because he basically revitalized wrestling.
Facts. R.I.P. that man. If you ever need a good laugh, take a look at what he looked like at 35 years old. Quite astonishing. That man was a grown man forever.
Yeah,
let's put
forever.
it that way. So yeah. And before we get out of here, please like, comment, and subscribe on all the stuff. Also, hit the notification button so that you can make sure whenever we do drop, we have shorts. We got different kind of content that we're now starting to get out there. And again, that friendly reminder of 50. Once we get to 50, that means we can go live, which will, again, expand the kind of content we can do. So please get this channel around to your friends if they like sports, if they like Bay Area convos, if they just like to say something out loud, they might like this show. So go ahead and send them on over. And again, we appreciate your time with us today, and we'll see y'all next week.